I also request Dr. Bhimraya Mitri, Director, IIM Nagpur, to join us. Along with Lieutenant General Sanjay Verma, retired PVSM, AVSM, VSM and BAR, ex-DWE, DRDO Chair. I request Air Marshal Sanjeev Guratia, SMSO, Maintenance Command IF, to please join us. I also request Major General Anil Bam, SMVSM, retired President, VDIA, to please join us. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Surbhi Tadfare, and it is my honor to welcome you all for the second session of Advantage Vidarbha, hosted by Association of Industrial Development. Advantage Vidarbha is a distinguished platform dedicated to promoting industrial development, exploring business opportunities, and attracting investments in the region. Today, we have gathered here for a panel discussion on the topic Emerging Opportunities for Startups, Technocrats, Innovators in Aerospace, Aviation and Defence. Given the strategic importance of the topic, it is only fitting that the conversation takes place among the most esteemed leaders and visionaries in the field to ensure we fulfill Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dream to make our Bharat Atmanirbhar. Strengthening indigenous capabilities is not just a goal, but it is a necessity for national progress, reducing dependence on external sources and paving the way for a self-reliant India. Today's forum brings together most esteemed minds in the aerospace, aviation and defense sector with an objective of fostering insightful discussions that will benefit aspiring professionals and industry stakeholders. We deeply appreciate the presence of all our eminent guests who have taken time from their busy schedules to share their expertise and perspectives. Today's session is being chaired by Honorable Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Shri Nitinji Gadkari. He will be joining us soon. I now request Mr. Dushyant Deshpande. Okay. Gadkari sir will be coming in some time, so let's begin with the rest of the program. I request Mr. Dilip Gondanale to present the memento to Air Marshal Vijay Kumar Garg. I request Mrs. Yogita Kasture to welcome Air Marshal Sanjeev Guratia, SMSO Maintenance Command, Indian Air Force. I request Ms. Madhvi Phatak to welcome Dr. Bhimraya Mitri. I invite Mrs. Yogita Kasture to present a memento to Lieutenant General Sanjay Verma, retired PVSM, AVSM, VSM and BAR. I welcome Ms. Madhvi Phatak to welcome Major General Anil Bam, SMVSM, retired President VDIA. Thank you. We are honored to have among us Air Marshal Vijay Kumar Garg, AVSM, VSM, AOC in C, Maintenance Command, Indian Air Force. Air Marshal Garg was commissioned as an engineer in the Aeronautical Engineering Branch of Indian Air Force on 19 August 1986. He excelled as a CAT PI flight engineer on IL-76 aircraft and was instrumental in finalization of number of SOPs for operations from high altitude and short runways. During his tenure at one of the fighter air bases, Air Marshal Garg single-handedly and successfully extended maintenance support to 2 Jaguar squadrons deployed at their operation location during Op Parakram. I now welcome Air Marshal Garg to please address us.
Distinguished guests on the dais, participants and prospective partners from the industry, my colleagues in uniform, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. It is indeed a privilege and an honor for me to be here this afternoon and address such a distinguished gathering. At the outset, I would like to compliment the organizing committee for Association for Industrial Development for setting up such a spectacular setup for the Advantage Vidarbha event. Coming to the core topic of the seminar today, it may be noted that while significant indigenization has been achieved so far as the surface and undersea defense equipment is concerned, there is still a lot of work to be done to achieve similar status as regards the military aviation assets are concerned due to the level of technology which is involved in these weapon platforms. Talking about military aviation in India, Indian Air Force came into existence in the year 1932. From the humble beginning, 92 plus years ago, today as the 4th largest air force in the world, we proudly operate state-of-the-art aircraft and weapon systems. However, most of these weapon platforms have been imported in the past. The dependency on foreign OEMs has been reduced to a large extent in case of licensed-built platforms by our defense PSUs, as well as for the aircraft and systems which are being repaired and overhauled at our base repair depots under maintenance command. However, even here, restrictions on extent of transfer of technology by OEM is often limited to non-niche technology areas. Even for the weapon platforms produced in the country, there has been sizable dependency on the foreign OEMs for critical subsystems and components. To give thrust to Atmanirbharta in this critical domain, Make in India or self-reliance in defense has been stated by our Honorable Prime Minister as the overarching principle of the national policy. That means a focused approach and enhanced efforts towards research and development as well as manufacturing within the country so as to reduce our dependence on the foreign OEMs. Towards realizing this, a number of enabling initiatives have already been taken by the government. Selection of the topic today's seminar, Nurturing Innovative and Manufacturing Initiatives for Atmanirbharta in Aerospace and Defence, is therefore considered so apt for the discussion by this August gathering. We need to develop the capabilities as well as the capacity to meet our present and futuristic requirement of defense equipment. We need to invest in R&D and upgrade our manufacturing infrastructure to be truly self-reliant. It has been Indian Air Force's endeavor to achieve Atmanirbharta through a focused, sustained and evolved indigenization program. Indigenization is one of the key result areas of Indian Air Force, and it is being pursued with an aim to boost the manufacturing capacity in the country. We firmly believe that the Indian industry has the potential and capability to support us in our indigenization efforts. Maintenance of our aircraft systems and weapon platforms offers huge opportunity to the Indian industry in the areas like development of systems, subsystems, line replaceable units, and spares for maintenance of weapon platforms, besides reclamation of airframe and engine parts. Similarly, indigenizations of tool, testers, and ground support equipment offers opportunity for entry of the Indian industry as a partner to the Indian Air Force. As civil MRO industry has also matured to a large extent with time, certain manpower intensive areas are also being part tasked to civil MRO industry. These include airframe disassembly, assembly and structural modifications. We would like to extend this to repair and overhaul of mechanical as well as electrical and other complex components. Another critical area and a major impediment in our efforts towards indigenization has been the lack of availability of suitable materials. As was announced yesterday during the inaugural session, with the setting up of world's largest steel plant at Gadchiroli and other ancillary industry for further processing of the product there, I am confident that the Vidarbha region will be able to provide a long-term solution to this issue. With an aim to set up manufacturing facilities for spares for the Russian platforms used by the armed forces, there is also an opportunity for the Indian industry to form joint ventures with the Russian OEMs. Coming back to indigenization in the Indian Air Force, let me explain the process of indigenization to meet our maintenance requirements. It is primarily driven by our base repair depots under maintenance command, which is headquartered here, very close to us where we are standing right now. We have total of 13 BRDs executing the repair and overhaul tasks as well as undertaking indigenization activities to meet our maintenance requirements. Out of these 13 BRDs, 2 are located within Maharashtra itself. All other industries or base repair depots are spread across the country, starting from Chandigarh to Sulur, north to south, and from Vatsar or Ahmedabad to Guwahati, from west to east. With sustained efforts of these BRDs, we have been able to indigenize almost 50,000 items till date. Most of these items have been indigenized with the help of Indian industry. So that speaks a lot about the capability of our industry. Some of the success stories, as well as few of our critical indigenization requirements, are on display at our stall here across the lane. Stepping up further towards indigenization of some of the complex items, we have created nodal technology centers at our base repair depots. These nodal technology centers interact with the industry, R&D labs, and academia for initiation and management of various R&D projects for indigenization, and also for obsolescence management and enhancing operational capability of our weapon platforms and systems. We are actively engaging with the Indian industry for development of indigenous products. To increase the R&D content in our activities, 23 Memorandum of Understandings have also been signed with the Indian universities and CSIR labs. However, one advice to the industry which is aiming to enter into the field of military aviation, this area of military aviation indigenization. I think Minister is here, we'll welcome you. Sir, I just covered the various indigenization requirements of Indian Air Force and how the Government of India and the Indian Air Force is intending to support the Indian industry and particularly the industry in the Vidarbha region for supporting us in our indigenization efforts. Sir. So as I was covering that word of advice to the industry which is planning to enter into the field of military aviation, this particular area involves strict certification requirements. This is one area where industry must understand the requirements clearly before venturing into this particular domain. However, in this, Indian Air Force, DRDO and DPSUs are actively involved in the process of supporting the industry in providing various details of certification requirements as well as providing the testing facilities which are available with them for undertaking various testing so that the product can be proven and made available to the armed forces at the earliest. I would once again urge the industry in Vidarbha region to partner with us to provide solutions to our indigenization needs. To give boost to indigenization, Ministry of Defence has developed a portal named as srajandefense.gov.in. The main objective of this portal is to partner with the private sector in indigenization efforts of defense products. DPSUs and service headquarters, that is Indian Air Force, Army and Navy, they display their items on this portal which they have been importing or they intend to import with an aim that the Indian industry must take on for their indigenization. Similarly, on our portal of Indian Air Force, we also publish our requirements for indigenization from the Indian industry. Ministry of Defence has also released 5 positive indigenization lists so far, which includes 509 items for service headquarters as well as almost 5,000 lines of items for DPSUs, which are intended to be indigenized. Defense Indigenization Committee has been constituted to oversee formulation and implementation of these positive indigenization lists to give further thrust to indigenous development and manufacturing. Government of India has also introduced a number of incentives to be given to MSMEs to enter into the defense R&D and manufacturing. These include Innovation for Defense Excellence, IDEX, Technology Development Fund, that is TDF, MIREC criteria, which has been there in the DAP 2020, etc. Air Force has also launched a Mayor Baba Challenge to harness technological prowess of startups in our country. The current level of uncertainty in geopolitics is exceptionally high and poses challenges to supply chain reliability through imports. On the other side, the Indian private industry is at the cusp of transformation in indigenous R&D and manufacturing of airborne stores. Initiatives like conduct of this seminar bridge the gap between Indian industry and armed forces and further assist in collectively achieving the aim of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Embracing self-reliance through domestic manufacturing and innovation will enhance strategic autonomy, reduce dependency on imports, and foster a self-reliance defense ecosystem, which includes job creation, technological advancements, and more agile response to evolving security challenges. With the increased capabilities in research and development in the country, as well as manufacturing, the nation will emerge as a key player in global military aviation arena. To make it happen, I request the industry representatives present here to make use of this opportunity and actively participate in our drive towards self-reliance. We need to work in mission mode towards achieving this. At the end, I once again express my gratitude to the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I wish this seminar to be a great success towards harnessing the potential of industries in the Vidarbha region in particular for supporting our indigenization efforts through innovation and domestic manufacturing. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your insights. We are fortunate enough to have today Honorable Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Shri Nitinji Gadkari, as the chairperson of this session. I extend my sincere gratitude to Gadkari ji for gracing today's event with his esteemed presence. Mr. Nitinji Gadkari is a visionary of Advantage Vidarbha, and he is a driving force behind the continued progress of this region. I please request Mr. Nitinji Gadkari to enlighten us.
Namaskar. All respectable dignitaries and dear friends. It is to be great pleasure for me that today in Vidarbha we are discussing about the opportunities, particularly in the defense sector. The dream of our Prime Minister to make Indian economy the third largest economy in the world. Atmanirbhar Bharat is the mission. $5 trillion economy. It is only possible when we are going to reduce our imports and increase our exports. If we need to increase our export, we need to have the good technologies. And for that reason, today India has got the tremendous potential about the new technology, new innovations and research. I am always telling to the people one of the important philosophies, the innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skill and successful practices. We name it as knowledge. And conversion of knowledge into wealth is the future. Today, it is very remarkable and historical that our Indian companies are receiving a lot of orders from the abroad, and that is to be a great achievement for the country. Even in our defense budget, previously we are depending upon the imports. But today government has opened this sector. But in the sector, the problem is not with the defense forces. Problem is with the system. I am very much familiar to how the defense system is working. The time is the most important capital. And for years to year it is taking time to take the decision is not good. I have a slogan I am giving present to every government officers that I like people who can get the things done. The problem is that the people who are getting salary every month, they never understand what is the cost of time. And that is to be a big problem. So today, actually Abdul Kalam Sahab was, he was a visionary. And he is talking about manufacturing of helicopters in India. I constantly insist on making amphibious seaplane. one of my, in Cochin shipyard, my MD, Mr. Madhu, was previously in the HE Hindustan Aeronautics Managing Director he was. I just, when he was there in Delhi to meet me, I said, Madhu, you do something. Even from generation to generation we are thinking about it, still the goings are not happening. I trying my level best at Manohar Parrikar was the defense minister to manufacture hovercrafts in India. And for that reason, the Goa shipyard, I have called 8 to 10 meetings and tried to do the manufacturing of these hovercrafts in India. But ultimately, I leave that. Because to get the clearances and approve the thing, it takes too much time. So today, the private sector is doing, and a lot of private investors also investing money in the defense sector. Just 8 days before, I got appointed to meet with the Airbus people, with the Air India MRO people, and there is a huge business. They want to convert our aircraft into goods aircraft, and that is to be the big project they are going to start in Nagpur. Now everywhere there is a huge potential, and not is only it is only domestic potential, but it is to be export potential. Regarding Vidarbha, we have also lot of engineering colleges are available. In some of the engineering colleges, aviation engineering is there. Now we have Dosalt is here, and the Dosalt people was telling me that after fulfilling the contract of Indian Defence Ministry for aircrafts, Rafale, they can make the export of it. Now in the drone also there is a huge potential. So I feel that this is the appropriate time that the people who have already have got the good technology, good innovation and research, we need to encourage them, and we are the facilitator. If we can create a good facility to them, they can make the miracles. I am really happy that today the people, particularly the authorities related with the defense ministry, the private investors and students also are here, because always we need the cooperation between the stakeholders. The problem is that every department is working in silo system. So creating cooperation, coordination and communication between the stakeholders is very important. We have engineering colleges, IIT. Now we are going to start logistic and skill development university. Our dream is to establish in Vidarbha. So where we will get a trained and skilled manpower, and by their startup and their new technology and innovation, I feel that their technology is equivalent to world standard, where we can make the miracles in the whole world. Today, a industrialist from Nagpur, who has started his career with a very as a small trader. Today, they have received lot of orders. They have received the order of 9,000 crore, Mr. Satyanarayan Nuwal. And now the industry is already domestic, also they want to supply. But they are getting the huge order, exports. And that is going to create jobs here. To create jobs and create growth is the mission. And that is exactly the spirit behind the Advantage Vidarbha. And where with the cooperation, knowledge and experience of you people, we now want to formulate the policy by which we want to make it successful, the development of defense industry in Vidarbha. I am really happy that you are all here. We are all with you. Anywhere, if the problems are there, it will be our responsibility to resolve your problem. We will support you, and 100% we can make Vidarbha as a defense manufacturing hub, not only for India, but for the export market. Once again, I am giving my thanks to all of you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. It is truly your effort that is taking Vidarbha on the right path of progress and development.
आप लोग आ जाइए. Sure. जी. आइए आइए. आ जाइए ऊपर आ जाइए. एक एक फोटोग्राफ एक काढून.
Sorry, this happens in the civilian programs. As we move ahead, please allow me to introduce our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Bhimraya Maitri, Director, IIM Nagpur. Dr. Maitri is a renowned expert in the area of project management and infrastructure, quality and supply chain management. He has numerous research papers and books to his credit, apart from being on the editorial advisory boards of several national and international institutions. I please request Dr. Maitri to share a few words.
Very good afternoon, respected dignitaries on the dais, all the distinguished participants, my dear students, media persons, ladies and gentlemen. It is my proud privilege to be a part of this panel discussion on very important subject, that opportunities in three areas: aviation, space, aerospace and defense. And again, three important aspects in that. One is startup, second is innovation, and the third one is basically as a part of Make in India program, so how to grow all the three areas. So I think if you see the dignitaries, all are related to defense. I am the one person, I am totally unrelated. I can say I am from education. But my association with the defense sector, when I was the dean at MDI Gurgaon, I used to run the 6-month armed force program. And after Kargil war, General Sandhu was DRDO chief. He gave assignment when I was MDI, how to connect the 5 depots, Agra, Kanpur and all. So that CICP project, Brigadier Khosla was heading, and I handled that project. I was part of it. Plus, when I went to IIM Trichy, we started armed force program. IIM Nagpur also we have started. So this is my association. But when it comes to this topic, today, I think as Honorable Minister was telling, India is going to be the 3rd biggest economy. That is 5 trillion. But if you see the history of India, 1947 to 2007, we took 60 years to make 1 trillion. But 2007 to 14, only 7 years good enough to add 1 more trillion. That is 2 trillion in 2014. But 2020, India was 3 trillion economy, just 6 years. And February 2024, India was 4.2 trillion economy. International Monetary Fund, they predicted India is going to be the 3rd largest economy, making 5 trillion by 27-28. And IMF, this prediction is going to be wrong. India is going to be there in 5 trillion in 26-27. 1 year ahead of that, India is going to be there. So this clearly tells that if you study the GDP of the country last 30 years, 3 decades, in the world, entire world, India is the only country, average GDP in 3 decades, average GDP of 8% is only India, no other country. So this clearly indicates India is on the growth path, and India started taking a leadership position, global leadership position from China. And looking at the China, Pakistan and geopolitical scenario, this topic is extremely important for us because India started taking global leadership. And another important aspect for India nowadays is demographic dividend. If you look at 2005-6, demographic dividend started as a youngest nation, average working population of 28. It is going to continue up to 2055 to 2056. And 2041 going to be the peak of the demographic dividend. And if you see the history of the world, when Japan was the youngest nation, 1965, after 15 years, Japan ruled the world as a super economy, 1980 to 1995. Singapore was the youngest nation in 85, 95 to 2000, Singapore was innovation nation. 2000, China was the youngest nation, and China till today ruling as a global leader. And from China, India is going to take a leadership. So in this junction, these three areas, startup and innovation plus Make in India program, as far as aerospace, aviation and defense is concerned, extremely important. And for that, till today, if you look at the Indian history, we are the biggest consumers of the technology. Till today, biggest consumers of the technology. Now the time has come, India has to be the biggest producer of the technology to take a leadership of the globe. And in that direction, Government of India has already started a program called Make in India, a lot of initiatives. Of course, when it comes to defense, 1990, then Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, under his leadership, the BrahMos project, in collaboration with Russia, that project, I think Dr. Pillai headed that project. She comes to IIM Nagpur, he addresses, he is currently the distinguished professor at IIT Chennai. So under his leadership, BrahMos project was successfully completed, delivered, and till today, Government of India also, the BrahMos products are sold to Vietnam and other countries. We are also marketing our defense product to other nations. So that already started, but that has to go in big way. And if you look at the recent announcement of the ISRO, as far as space structure is concerned, the ISRO then chairman told that we want to partner with private sectors. Big way, we want to collaborate with private sectors in aerospace is concerned in various areas. Already in defense areas, L&T, Mahindra, then Reliance, many companies have started working with defense sector in various sectors for producing the product. When it comes to composite material, L&T working with Armed Force very closely for producing some of its product, Indianized product. So that process is already on, but now when it comes to today's situation, today we call it as a disruptive world. Disruptive world means if you don't disrupt others, we get disrupted by them. So in this context, the innovators or technocrats are going to play a very, very important role as far as innovation and R&D in defense is concerned. So in that context, if you look at the last year, Government of India announced semiconductor projects, 2 in Gujarat, 1 in Assam. Otherwise, we were dependent on the Taiwan. Now India is producing. India has slowly started getting into the manufacturing hub of the globe. Till today, Shanghai has been considered as a manufacturing hub of the globe, and India was considered as an IT service center. Now it is going to change, because if you look at the geopolitical situation, China minus strategy, Australia, Japan, India and America, even though America, whether it wants to be good with India or not, but it is not definitely. China has become its enemy, America has to be with us. So looking at this geopolitical situation, India is in a better situation for R&D and collaboration with the best of the best nations in the world. Also, if you look at in education sector, as a part of national education policy, Government of India has announced Anusandhan, National Research Foundation, because unless until we are great in R&D, we cannot take a global leadership in manufacturing in R&D. So therefore, Government of India has already announced National Research Foundation, 50,000 crore rupees already allocated by our Honorable Finance Minister 2 years back, and there is going to be a lot of collaboration with defense and aerospace, ISRO and private sectors as far as research is concerned. So I think there is a great opportunity for collaboration for startup. Already Government of India, you know that startup, lot of a push from the Government of India, doing business in India also, another initiative, Digital India. So many initiatives Government of India has started, but startup space, India is number 3 in the world, already number 3. US first, China second, India is number 3. And the records of the Government of India are 1.4 lakh startups, and unicorns are more than 100. So they are in various areas, and there is going to be a special focus on defense, since ISRO and defense is open to the private sectors. So there are going to be golden opportunity for startup, and also technocrats are going to play important role. DRDO is initiative number of areas including solar batteries and all. So these are all going to play important role, and AI coming in, I think AI is a game changer. And AI is a game changer means everything, sitting in your room, you will come to know what is happening, who is calling to whom and at what time, all those kind of things, you know that nobody knows. But in that kind of uncertain, disruptive and unsecured world, how to get into a technology that to a cyber security is one of the important aspects, how to take care of cyber security. This is one opportunity for startup. Similarly, network security, data security, these are the various areas. I think lot of initiatives are possible as a part of startup, and many college students are here, engineering college students. I think government is also identified 85 higher technical institutions for semiconductor project in 3 states, Gujarat and Assam. I think Government of India is also sector-wise collaborating the colleges to promote the R&D and to produce the product, and here onwards, from India to the world, a slogan is going to come. So for that purpose, many initiatives are there. I am sure this particular seminar, all the veterans are there, and they are in this field. I am sure they will give a lot of insights and ideas how people can get into that, and all together we can make a product not only for India but from India to the world. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for interesting insights. Our next guest is Air Marshal Sanjeev Guratia, AVSM, VSM, SMSO, Maintenance Command, Indian Air Force. Commissioned in the Indian Air Force on 12 September 1988, Air Marshal Sanjeev Guratia, in 26 years of his distinguished service, has held numerous field and staff appointments. His insightful analysis of dangerous pattern of consecutive replacement of tail drive shaft of MI series helicopter has been acknowledged to have prevented potential accidents. I please request Air Marshal Sanjeev Guratia to join us.
Air Marshal Garg, AOCNC Maintenance Command, dignitaries on the dais, senior officers from the armed forces, representatives from the industry, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear students. While you all have got a wonderful broad view that what is required by the Indian Air Force and defense forces today in India has been covered very well by AOCNC Air Marshal Garg, followed by, you heard, Honorable Minister talking about what should happen in India and where are the opportunities. And subsequently, you also heard Dr. Maitri, who talked about where we were and where we reached and where we should be and what is required to be done. Since he already given kind of assignment that now we should tell you that what we need to do as far as industry is concerned. So I'll focus my talk especially on this regard. Firstly, since everyone talked about students and what kind of potential we have today in India as far as knowledge, skills are concerned, I'll start with the students. We have a wonderful chapter called Aeronautical Society of India in Nagpur. This chapter, the chairman is from the Indian Air Force, from Headquarter Maintenance Command. So around a month back, we met where we had wonderful representation from the academia, industry, and students. I must share with you one experience of mine that we had also encouraged people to come and participate and showcase their products. So one young man just passed out 2 years back from ENIT. He came with his drones. I was extremely pleased to listen to him and see his product. There are 2 young guys, a team of probably 4 more guys who are from the passed out 1 or 2 years back. They formed a team. They are doing business today with 14 governments, 14 states of India. I think we need a clap for it. Imagine 2 years passed out guys, these students with very limited knowledge, but brilliant brain. They have not much of experience how to do business, but they have done a startup and they are here today. I had a long chat with them. When I asked them, where do you get the components from? They import everything, including the autopilot, all sensors, everything. I had a long chat with them, conveyed to them that this is an area where we can do production ourselves. We have technology, we have industry today, which can support you. Why I quoted this example? To share with you that there is no dearth of potential, knowledge, technology, infrastructure, ideas in India today. We have people who are ready to fund as well. Only thing, they need to be shown the right way, right direction. And today, Indian Air Force has taken a lead in this direction. We conduct and participate in all such kind of gatherings in a very, very transparent manner. We interact with the industry. We share with them what we need. We conduct melas. We participate. In fact, all of you are aware that Aero India is coming up very shortly in Bangalore. Our stall would be there, and we have a huge stall here. Today is the time when we all have directions and we are very transparent in telling and sharing with you what we need, where you can bridge the gap. And as already been spoken, I will again repeat those parts. Today, if you want to see what is the potential in India, it starts with, if I talk of only defense sector today, 75% of my capital procurement is reserved for indigenous technology. I cannot buy more than 25% of capital products. And this is more than 1 lakh crore itself. This is the potential today industry has to meet. This is a requirement where you can play a major role. So I invite each one of you who thinks that you can contribute to the nation's Indonesian drive, self-reliance drive, and drive of Government of India on Atmanirbharta. Please interface with us. Please contact us, and we'll tell you where you can bridge the gap. Secondly, since we are talking about aerospace and defense, I shouldn't leave the civil aviation sector. Today, the kind of growth in civil aviation sector is there in India. All of you know that all my aircraft, which requires major checks, MROs, they are flown to other countries. With the kind of number of aircraft which we are buying, we are the largest buying nation in the world today as far as civil aviation is concerned. What will happen to these aircraft? Will they again go to other countries for MRO? No. There is the potential where industry can play a major role. When we talk about some of the success stories, of course, we always tell people that leave that behind, what you have done. We have examples in India where in aviation sector we have done wonderfully well. Starting with the products of HAL, all of you know about Tejas, ALH, and part of the Saras, where already aircraft are flying in the Indian skies with the military. You are aware about C295 project, where private industry has started doing a major work in the aviation sector. It has all been possible in the same country, where people said nothing can be done like this. It is happening today in India. When we talk about Indian Army, Indian Navy, there are enough examples where we have made ourselves indigenous aircraft carrier. How it has happened? It has happened because industry participated. Today when we say, I can design very well, but that design will not see light of the day unless I have the material. As already covered by A. Marshal Garg, that our challenges today in aerospace industry, since I have been told to talk about nuts and bolts, let me get a little in depth of this. Today when we have a challenge as far as the materials are concerned for aerospace technology, we import a lot of materials, most of it I must say. Just to give an examples, whatever number of aircraft are produced by HAL today in India or repaired and overall by Indian Air Force, in my base repair force, we use more than 10,000 bearings, airborne bearings. But not a single one is produced in India. Everything we import. While we have a fantastic automobile industry where we manufacture our own bearings, but not a single one is produced for aerospace. Why? I will share that as well with you. When you develop a product, first you have to design, you have to perfect that design, then it comes to manufacturing, for which you need material, you need skilled people, you need infrastructure. Today we have infrastructure. Technology, part of it is being developed, but we have people who can develop technology for you. They need support. Then you also need skills, where we have a major deficit in aerospace sector. We don't have skilled people who can really do that kind of master class of job. I am in touch with crew of TESL, who's my, in fact, friend from the Air Force, Ramakrishna. He tells me there's been a challenge for him to set up the lines of C295 assembly because of deficit of skills. We don't have people who are trained in the aerospace sector. Why? Because the quality control standards are very, very stringent. It needs a lot of experienced people to work there because I have a zero tolerance for error. It's not that we can't do it, but we have to think ahead. We have to plan. We have to train our people. Here lies the potential for industry. You can develop skilled people. You can establish training institutes in aerospace industry. Since I talked about challenges, let me also share with you what are the challenges in development. Once you design, develop, manufacture, it goes for testing and certification. This is an area where huge challenge lies, because in aerospace, whenever you develop a product, it goes through a very, very stringent certification process. A lot of quality checks, a lot of certification tests need to be done, for which you need special labs. You need a lot of technology for testing this. You need a lot of equipment which has to be designed for testing it, which we don't have in India. If we have, they are generally with DRDO and some other labs, for which time sharing is a problem. It is not available to industry at will. There is a challenge here. Although government policy says that all the facilities which are there in nation belongs to the nation and it should be open to industry. But here we have a little challenge. Third point, where the challenge is about knowledge about the certification process. Anything which you design, manufacture, you might have fund, you might have infrastructure, you might have money. But if you don't know how to get it certified, what all are required to be done, that product will never see light of the day, in spite of whatever investment you have done. So when you talk about a product for aerospace, all this has to work together. There is the challenge. We have to address all these points. It is not difficult. Only thing is we need to have sustained efforts. We have to have policies towards this. And that's why I started with example of these students of VNIT. If they can do it, I am sure industry can do it. Few days back, I was in the ordnance factory Ambajari. I was extremely pleased to see the equipment there, which is, I've seen kind of transformation. I've seen same Ambajari 20 years back. And today when I go and see it, the kind of facilities they have developed over a period of time, I was amazed. 6,500 metric tons of press. When I visited last 20 years back, they talked about it, but today they have it. When I saw the extrusion facility, by which they are able to supply a lot of aerospace materials, what is required for industries like L&T, NHL, etc., and even ISRO, which was not possible earlier. Today they are exporting almost 50 crores worth of equipment. It has been possible in the same country, with the same factory, same establishment. Only thing is the culture has changed, thinking has changed. Same country, same people can do it. These are the examples I thought let me share with you. Yesterday, in fact, CMD of GIL was with me, Mr. Bala. He talked about the export potential. We talked at length. They are making parachutes. Today, most of you will know that most of the parachutes which are being used by Indian Air Force are indigenously manufactured. But there is still potential because we have some aircraft which we have recently procured, for which I have parachutes which are yet to be indigenized. There are aircraft we are developing now, fighter class of aircraft, for which again you will need this technology. The potential and opportunities are phenomenal. That's why I want to share these two, three examples with you, where industry can play a major role. In aerospace, since aerospace technology is amalgamation of all kind of technologies, you kind of talk about science, every science is here, every technology is here. When we talk about IT, AI, blockchain, whatever you talk about, every technology has got application and potential for development in aerospace sector. So once again, I would like to invite the industry to experiment in these areas, take lead, seek our help in case we could be of any guidance to you as Headquarter Maintenance Command under leadership of AOCNC. And I have no doubts in my mind that together we can make the difference and make our nation proud. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for valuable inputs. As you said, we are also associating with the Aeronautical Society of India. Distinguished guest speakers, if in case there has been any mistake from our side in recognizing your designations, protocols, and achievements, we humbly apologize. Moving ahead, let me introduce our next guest of honor, Lieutenant General Sanjay Verma, retired PVSM, AVSM, VSM, and BAR, ex-DWE DRDO Chair. Lieutenant General Verma was superannuated on 30 September 2020 as the Director General, Weapons and Equipment from Army Headquarters, Ministry of Defence, New Delhi. Currently, he is a consultant with DRDO. He is a fellow of the Indian Institution of Engineers and is an advisor, subject expert with the UPSC. He is also an avid sportsperson and a paratrooper. I welcome Lieutenant General Sanjay Verma to please address us.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the kind words of introduction. Air Marshal Garg, Air Marshal Sanjeev, Dr. Mehtri, General Baum, friends from the forces, academia, industry, and the Vidarbha region industry people. At the outset, let me tell you, 10 past 2 on a Saturday afternoon and you are looking at lunch, please don't hold me responsible for delaying your lunch, because I've been told that till the time I don't speak, I'll not be given lunch. So like they say, there are no free lunches. Guys are waiting for me as well. Yeah. So please understand my situation that I also have to earn my lunch. We've had a very interesting, presentations and discussions by the fellow panelists. It was very encouraging to see the Honorable Minister come himself and address us. Like I was telling him, his contribution to the defense is also acknowledged. He's made roads where the aircrafts land today. So what does it bring out? It brings out that today the defense is not only the prerogative or the preserve of military alone. It's a whole of nation approach. That's why we talk today comprehensive national security, gross national power. And with the emerging and disruptive technologies coming in, this issue gains a lot of importance. The World War was there, the Cold War was there. We had tanks, we had ships, we had submarines. The tanks, ships, submarines, guns are still there. But their lethality, their firepower, their mobility, their communication, their surveillance, everything is multiplying. How is it multiplying? It is multiplying because of these emerging technologies. Whether you have artificial intelligence, blockchain, quantum, materials, space, the warfare has transformed not only from the land, air, and maritime to space, to cyber domains. Now here comes the right time for the Indian industry to join the bandwagon. Because in this, I think we lost out in the beginning years when probably we were not, when we came out of being a British colony and then we started on our independent dream, we, yes, dreamt of being self-reliant, Atmanirbharta, by way of bringing up defense public sector undertakings, the ordnance factories. And yes, at that point of time, the technology threshold levels were low, the capital available to the industry was less, so obviously it had to be a state-driven initiative. And as we transcended our journey, globalization and coming on to present day, we have enough technical capital and capital in the sense we have the money power also and we have the technology also. So today's warfare is actually beyond guns and cannons. Today we are looking at something artificially intelligence-driven information seeking, quantum-driven communication, and a resilient cyber security. Now you stitch the dots, the information, communication, and cyber security. These three are going to drive the warfare, whether it is land, sea, air, or be it finance, be it railways, be it shipping. Why are we worried about, if we look at security, are we going to talk only about defense? No. Look at our shipping lanes. Look at our power, energy infrastructure. Are we energy independent? So, now, any nation which has to be a winner or any individual amongst you, the young people, the actual winner comes out only when there is a challenge and when you overcome that challenge successfully. When did we face that challenge in recent times? We faced this challenge in 2020 when the COVID, in fact the entire world faced this challenge, and therein our Honorable Prime Minister took the initiative of announcing bold reforms in all sectors. And coming on to the defense, if you look at year 2020, the MOD came up with 20 reforms. 20 reforms in 2020. Air Marshal Garg mentioned it, I think somebody else also mentioned it, positive individualization list. So now I am giving few bullets for the industry how you can participate. The government decided that these items, these equipment, these platforms will not be imported. So it is opening up for Indian industry. The budget comes, more than 1 lakh crore is being, more than 70 to 75%, which amounts to I think 1,30,000 crores, is only reserved for procurement from Indian industry. So there again, there is a multiplier effect. So one is the positive indigenization list, budget. Then, like just was being mentioned, trial, testing, validation, the facilities of DRDO, the facilities of the government are being open to everybody, so private industry can also use. Of course, it is on a time sharing basis. What else? Now, private industry will say, कि सर हमें बताइए कि आपको चाहिए क्या और कब चाहिए, कितना चाहिए. Now, this used to be a problem. Nobody used to spell out what are the quantity required, when is it required. Today, a document comes in that these positive indigenization list has come with a timeline that after 2027, this item will not be imported. So you know clearly that this item has to be manufactured in India. Now, this is, I'm talking about big platforms. Let me come down to, say, MSMEs, startups, private entrepreneurs. Now, the problem is, first of all, you have to understand what is the defense forces facing. And then, even if you work on it, what is the assurance that they will buy it? And even if they give you an assurance, how do you fund it? Where does the money come from? So, the government started coming up with problem statements. The Department of Defense Production, and now on 10th/11th in Bangalore, the next set of problem statements will come in. What is a problem statement? My soldier is sitting in Glacier. He is facing a certain problem. My airman is sitting somewhere. My naval man is sitting. They are facing certain technological challenges, administrative challenges, logistic challenges. It could be anything. So we share this with the industry. It is given in the form of a statement. And anyone is welcome to come in and offer. But what are the instruments to give you money? So for information of all of you, we have two very good schemes called IDEX, Innovation for Defense Excellence, where any private individual from academia, from industry, from a startup, he has a bright idea. He reads the statement and he says, I can give you a solution. So a broad caricature of that solution is made, and thereafter, if it is found suitable, funding is done. So right from 1.5 to 10 crore funding is given to startups. This is not all. Innovation for Defense Excellence is under the Department of Defense Production. But now, all platforms will not come in 1.5, 10 crores. So we go a step further. Technology Development Fund. Now this is under the DRDO. We go till 50 crores. And any good idea coming in from anyone, and let me tell you, many good ideas have come in. So this is second. Besides this, indigenization or localization of the components which are fitted in large numbers, like Air Marshal Sanjeev mentioned, thousands of bearings, O-rings, axles, components, I mean, you name it, in T-72, T-90, aircrafts, all these have to be indigenized in a given timeline. And please go to the Srijan portal, which the AOC&C mentioned. All details are given. Pick up items. The drawings will be shared. You go and have a look. Money will be given to you. And the aim is that our supply chain should not get disrupted come COVID or no COVID. We should be self-reliant. Now, a step further. It is not only limited to these small scale, small ticket items. We have categories like Make 1, Make 2, Make 3, where the private industry is invited to make bigger platforms. Make 2, wherever you think that you have certain ideas, please share. There is another category called Make 3 in Defense Acquisition Procedure, which is only for import substitution. So here, you are getting a free list of items. इनके भाई आप जुगाड़ से बनाओ, रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग करके बनाओ, जॉइंट वेंचर करके बनाओ, no holds barred. Aim is that I should not look back at my supply chain कि मेरे को वो सामान नहीं मिल रहा. So this is by and large the scheme and the plan of the government, that if we have to achieve our aim of becoming the third largest economy, defense has to be one of the biggest contributor in this. And it can only happen if the industry is factored in. And let me tell you that even if you look at the 2024 year-end report of the MOD, our domestic production has gone then more than 1 lakh crore. Our exports are going 23,000 crores, if I remember the figure correctly. because fortunately the figure changes every day, it is increasing. So this is the scene today, and for people who are young, like Dr. Mathri was mentioning, we have the benefit of having the demographic dividend. Yes, there is a lot of palpable excitement amongst students, amongst startups, which I see, and we are very open. I have headed the capital acquisitions for the Indian Army for about 4 years, and now I am not a consultant, but I am a chair of excellence at the DRDO, where I still mentor a lot of startups, a lot of people who want to come in. So this is the right time, and the opportunities are, like if I use the Air Warriors, this thing, sky is the limit. And I also use that word because I am a paratrooper. Well, at the end, I won't take much of time. Maybe we can have some question answers. But I would like to, before I close, like to thank the organizers, everybody, for having invited me here. And whenever I come, I always pay my tribute to General Thodge, who first got me out here to the Nagpur Vidarbha. And he used to be an elder to me, and we miss him. But my best wishes to all of you, the organizers. Wish you the very best, and thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your interesting views. While we have an energetic dais here, we also recognize the presence of eminent guests in the audience. We have Executive Director, Ordnance Factory Ambazari, A.K. Yerpude, Chairman Vedic, Shri Dilip Gondanale, sir, Chief General Manager, NAPD, Dr. J.P. Dash, Associate Vice President, Indamar, Shri Ujjwal Bambal. We also recognize senior officials from the Air Force Command, Defense Public Sector Units, academicians, and business founders. Moving ahead, our next guest of honor is Major General Anil Bam, retired SM, VSM. Major General Bam was commissioned in the Artillery Regiment on June 7, 1980. He has commanded his regiment and the brigade in high altitude area of Kargil as part of Leh Corps. Before his appointment as Commandant OTA Kamti, Major General Bam was the longest serving managing director of ex-servicemen contributory health scheme, a flagship venture for the Indian Armed Forces aimed at providing quality Medicare to all the veterans and their dependents in India and Nepal. I request Major General Bam to enlighten us with his ideas and words.
Thank you. Honorable Dais, ladies and gentlemen, it's a double whammy from me. Though General Verma made the mention about the lunch, imagine a guy who's to speak last and also the lunch. Very early in our life when we joined the armed forces, they told us 5 से 7 मिनट से ज़्यादा नहीं बोलना, वरना कोई नहीं सुनता. I'll restrict myself to that much as well. Today's topic in terms of emerging opportunities for startups and various SMEs in aerospace defense is a topic which is very dear to each one of us' heart. You heard the speakers prior to me, which they elucidated the different aspects which need to be looked at when you're looking at defense production. Understand, India has huge potential to spend money. And in case we are willing to take that big pie out of the nation for our own well-being and the well-being of the nation, it serves both the purposes. Just to give you an insight, India is the third largest nation in spending on defense forces. To just give you an indication, the United States of America spends about $800 billion per year. To be precise, 801. China spends about 300, 293 to be specific. India spends $76.6 billion on our spending for the defense forces. That is the kind of expenditure which we are looking at. So when our nation talks about Atmanirbhar Bharat, the irony and the paradox was that in spite of having the biggest defense industries amongst the developing nations, India was the biggest importer of weapon systems from all over the world. Today, we are looking at about $2.1 trillion of market available in the world. Imagine when Modi ji made a mention that we need to be a economy of 5 trillion to reach third position. There is 2.1 trillion available in the market to get the access. So what do we do? Unfortunately, the defense is a niche sector. All the gentlemen here highlighted the aspect about stringent norms and traditions which follow through. I have known people because as the chairman and a director of the VDIA, where we were trying to help people in Vidarbha for defense industries, people have given up because of fatigue. The amount of paperwork and the dogmatic ways of doing business which were available once upon a time no more exist. The melancholy is gone. There is complete positive nature in the nature and business doing procedures in our nation. It could be defense acquisition, which General Verma made a mention about. It's an iterative process where almost every year things change. Change for making things simpler and better. So if an opportunity exists, why not grab it with both the hands? Like Sri Gadkari ji made a mention about solar industries. Day before yesterday, they have signed contract worth 9,000 crores. That is the kind of kitty which is available. So why is it that the startups don't look at it? Startup has a huge potential. Look at aerospace, look at defense. It could be advanced mobility vehicles. It could be aerospace. It could be space. It could be AI. It could be drones. I mean, you name a thing, it's available. Why doesn't it happen? Of Dr. Maitri, who's an expert on startups, and he made a mention of a huge number where startups are working. Can you imagine? Only 7 startups have got orders in our nation till today. And that too, 7 is a finger. Fortunately, I have 10, so I can still count it on my fingers. There is somebody in Chennai, there is somebody in Pune, there are 2 gentlemen or organization working from Bangalore, there is somebody in Noida. Our nation has huge potential. Let's exploit it. The bigger people who have the moolah and who have the capability of putting in funds can do it easily. And what do? They get hold of some foreign collaboration and then start up with the technical know-how. We have names of L&T, we have names of Mahindra Defense, we have Tatas. All these houses are renowned and they have proven records for producing what is promised to each one of us. But we are a nation of 140 crores. Let's be a nation where we can employ people rather than getting employed ourselves. And that can happen if we have the zeal, the enthusiasm, and the knowledge. All 3 aspects which I made a mention are available in abundance in our nation. Let's get up, wake up, and grab each one of them. Thank you very much. After this, we will have a session on question and answer, which I will try and moderate. We have some more important people who will join us on the dais and try and answer and take on your questions if you have any. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I request the dignitaries to take the place in the audience.
Sir, Chintan ji, आइए.
I'll introduce them.
Mr. Please. Yeah. Mic द्या ना सरांना लवकर. हर्षवर्धन जी, please आइए.
So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I welcome you all for the panel discussion. Yeah. Our panelists for today are Mr. Harshvardhan Dave, DGM, Corporate Commercial, Bharat Dynamic Limited. Mr. Chintan Oza, founder at Anantam Ecosystems. Mr. Umesh Sinha, IOFS, Works Manager, Gliders India Limited.